15 years ago, my first company shut down because of cloud cost. I wanted to take this head on. How can we look at it differently?
The region is facing unprecedented challenges. In certain sectors, revenues have declined unexpectedly, and the timeline for recovery remains uncertain. While we have strong confidence in the leadership, companies increasingly seek big cost savings.
We help companies save up to 50% on their cloud in 15 minutes. It's almost always guaranteed that we're going to drop their costs. One of them, we're saving $4,000 a month.
Big deal for startups.
Like a salary of a good engineer. We've not yet seen a company that we couldn't save them money. We've just focused 100% on the product.
The proof is in the pudding. If you build a good product, you'll get the funding.
There's no gimmicky thing about it. This is what you get, this is how much you will save. It's quite fast and accessible for them to actually do it through us.
How are you keeping up with the constant evolution of AI?
It is giving us anxiety. We have our head of AI make sure that we're using the best that is there. And if there's anything that's gimmicky, that we're kind of putting aside. We know this is the best that we have today, so let's just adopt it. Trying it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we just move on.
Today, we're joined by Jawad Shreim, CEO and founder of Milkstraw. Milkstraw is a cloud optimization company that's saving money for startups and companies across the MENA region. Welcome, Jawad. Welcome to Venture Souk's No Cap podcast.
Thank you very much.
So, Jawad, where did the obsession start? What did you see that you saw, this is broken, I need to go fix it?
Yeah, a bit of a long story on that, but essentially, it starts off about 15 years ago. My first company that I ever started shut down because of cloud cost. So there was a bit kind of leftover, lingering over the years. And just as the years flew by, I kept on seeing like how many companies are struggling with managing cloud costs. So I wanted to kind of take this head on, figure out a way a bit unique rather than the standard, which is, send your engineers, let them work for a few months on the project, optimize the cost, drop it. So the idea is, how can we look at it differently, optimize quite fast, keep on doing it dynamically over time, and then let the engineers kind of work on the more important projects that they should put their time on.
Yeah. The region is facing unprecedented challenges. In certain sectors, revenues have declined unexpectedly, and the timeline for recovery remains uncertain. While we have strong confidence in the leadership and the region's long-term resilience, startups must remain disciplined towards cost management in the interim, as companies increasingly seek big cost savings. So you're talking about speaking of big savings for the startups.
Yeah.
What's the typical situation where you see the most savings through Milkstraw?
Typically, all companies are dependent on two forms of usage in a cloud infrastructure. Definitely crazy times, but I'm of the opinion that as startups, we need to always have strong operational efficiency. Cost savings are not something that we should look at once we have an issue or something like that. We should always be on top of that. We always need to save money when possible. Because for us it's a game of time, and we need to buy as much time as possible for us to keep playing in the game. So definitely these days, this has been brought to surface, and more companies are looking to save money. As I mentioned, it's just always important. It's just now, unfortunately, because of the scenario, we need to up the game and deliver more savings as companies. And thankfully as Milkstraw, that's kind of that's our core, that's what we do. And we've been helping a lot of companies cut on their costs and manage the current turmoil we're going through.
In recent weeks, we have observed cloud outages and disruptions affecting core services. What measures do you recommend companies incorporate into their business continuity plans to mitigate against such risks?
So unfortunately, what happened was very unexpected. Who would have thought, data centers are going to be a target? But unfortunately, it's reality, and we had to face the music. So today, what we recommend to companies and all of our customers, our recommendation was it's time to move. You need to move your servers and databases to other regions. So all of them right now move to Europe and India, and yeah, they just need to stay there for a while until things kind of become very clear. As companies, we cannot risk going down, for a day or two or three. This is all money for us. So the best thing to do right now is just move your servers outside the region. A lot of the compliance issues are now kind of taken lightly, right? Like nobody's focusing too much on it. The important part is, you're operational, you're working. So move to Europe, move to India, whatever region fits you, and keep on working. And then in 6 months' time, we see how things are, and if we can move back, then we move back.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So building Milkstraw, how did you get that first customer? Like, how did you convince them that, I can help you out?
Yeah. To be honest, it starts always the same, I think. There's not like a magical recipe there. It was just through the network, people that I know, friends that have startups, have said, like, give my product a shot. Let me see if it actually works. And when we tested it out, the first 5 were all like friends of mine, that they have their own companies, and they loved it. And I always do the same thing whenever I'm building a product. I always say, after 3 months, all right, guys, like this was a nice project, I'm shutting it down. And I want to see their reaction.
Yeah.
And if their reaction is like, no, please, like, why would you shut it down?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Then I know, all right, there's something there.
Yeah.
And fortunately, after we did this with Milkstraw, after the 3 months, their reaction was a freak out more, because one of them had like a $10,000 monthly bill, and we dropped it to $6,000. So they were saving $4,000 a month.
It's a big deal for startups.
Exactly. Basically, it's like a salary of like, a good engineer.
Yes.
So they can hire someone that actually can help them ship faster. So essentially, this is the test, and how we got them is just friends, like just referrals. Thankfully, this has been going for a while now with us. Like, we are continuously getting referred from our current customer pool. So on average, every customer brings us another customer.
Yes.
So the referral cycle is quite strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the hardest trust barrier for a startup to use you, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, very good question. So the market we're working in is targeting engineers, and engineers are naturally just low trust, because we need to give, we need to get access to their infrastructure. We need to see what they're building on the inside, and that's automatically like, a very sensitive area. Like, they don't want to give you access to that. No, don't touch anything in my infrastructure.
Yeah.
Tell me exactly what you're going to do before you do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work that we did in the first year was on how do we ease this process? How do we make it very frictionless for them? So I think our onboarding, like leaving the product aside, I think we iterated, like rebuilt the whole thing 17 or 18 times from scratch. Just because every time we get more feedback, we say, okay, this can be better. This can be done better. This can be done better. And providing like a lot of transparency on it.
Yeah.
So, we work a lot on our documentation that we send out to all our potential customers to read through before, they get on the call, make sure they understand how everything works. We remove any form of access that we don't need.
Yeah.
Which is typically, unfortunately, on the other side of the industry, it's more like, no, what more access can I get?
Yes.
So we're always looking to cut down on that.
Yeah.
And only if we need the extra access inside the application, we ask for it. So we say, okay, like we have this feature, but if you want this feature to be active, you need to give us this extra access. Yeah. And if you're okay with it, please give it to us. So we need to work a lot on building out trust with the engineers. And over time, that becomes kind of an engine on its own.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Staying with this topic of you building and pivoting, what did you try that didn't work? Like, what did you have to change at some point that you've now kind of feels much better?
Yeah. So this can get a bit technical, but let's do it. Essentially, when we first started, as I mentioned in the beginning, we were offering the optimization that we were doing on just the 2 main categories, which is databases and compute. but just the core services. That's it. But there is like off of those, like a lot, right? We're talking about at least like 15, 20 services under every category of those. So we thought like, okay, it's going to be sufficient for us to like, just do those, and, that's going to be completely fine. And, it's going to be enough for us to actually grow the company. Very, very quickly, we figured out, no, it's not going to work that way. Most of the people, yes, they are using compute. Yes, yeah, they are using data stores, but they're probably using one of the other technologies that exist under it. So not the main core service. So that was a bit of you could say it was a bit of a slap in the face.
Okay.
Because we had to change our whole model of how we are doing the optimization to support all those other services. So essentially, we had to go through a complete rebuild, which took us like 3 months, just literally rebuilding everything from scratch. We had to pause a month and a half onboarding, no more onboardings. Like we couldn't bring in any new customers. Obviously, that's that takes a hit on the growth of the company. But also adds a lot of pressure on us as a team, because like we need to rush to get this out. And the logic behind it was, if I bring anyone on version 1 of the platform, I'm not going to be able to optimize anything for them, because on version 2 it's going to be a whole different set of optimizations. So anything that I do on V1 is just going to be canceled. It's not going to work. So we had to pause onboarding, and that was very, very hard on us as a team. Also a lot of pressure, because we needed to rush everything. And when you rush a lot of things, mistakes happen all the time. So essentially, we kind of said, all right, let's get a V0 out, even if it's worse than V1. It's fine, but we cannot stop onboarding. We know that the average customer that we have today is going to increase their savings by at least 20-30% just from this move. And any new customer that comes, we'll just tell them like, the new product is going to be good. It's not going to be as good in the beginning, but just wait with us. And thankfully, at the early stages of the company, you have early adopters most likely. So it's not people that are kind of looking for like the issues that you have. Like, yeah, your product sucks.
Yeah.
They're more forgiving, you could say.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I think this was like one of the things that we kind of had a weird assumption about. Turns out to be a huge mistake on our part. Yeah.
So tell us, let's go to your fundraising journey.
Yeah.
You raised a pre-seed of $600,000, and then you announced a $2 million seed round led by VentureSouk.
Yeah.
Tell us about the journey of raising those 2 rounds. How hard it was. What can you tell other startups that are going through this journey, and how can you help them?
Yeah, for sure. So it was very tough in the beginning when we raised our pre-seed. I was in the Bay Area before for like 13 years. So in my head, this is how it works, right? It's just the Silicon Valley way just applies everywhere. But once you come on the ground here, unfortunately, reality hits you. So in our pre-seed, it took us 10 months to close the 600K, which is an absurd amount of time, right? I spent literally the first year of the product essentially just trying to get the money that we need to keep the boat afloat. We were lucky and unlucky at the same time. Lucky because the first check that came in, which was from Flat 6 Labs, it came on the idea itself. Like we had not one line of code written, nothing. It was just the idea. The guys like they believed in us. I have to give it to them. They said, we love the team. We love what you guys are thinking, and you're going to figure this out. We know you're going to figure this out. So they gave us the first check, which gave us like a very good runway. And over time, I thought, okay, like first check in probably it will take me like a month to get the rest because I had most of the round with the first check. But no, that didn't work out that way. So we had to jump through a lot of hoops. Try to convince investors like this is a valid product. Everybody was asking me for something crazy. I have to say. It's okay if we talk about the VC industry a bit, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So there's a weird assumption in the region that pre-seed somehow should be, a full-fledged product with revenue, and things are working out well, and your growth is like 20% per month, and but at the pre-seed in reality, like outside of the MENA region, is you're building up
pre-revenue for sure. Like you're still building the product.
Yeah, you're still building the products, trying to find product market fit, and it's a complete, from a venture side, that's what we know is it's a complete bet on the team. That's it. Even in the seed stage, there's a lot of it that's betting on the team. But but yeah, in the region we were a bit delayed on that side. There was a lot of like hampering on like, yeah, but like your revenue numbers are not that good. Yeah. I'm like, it's good that we even have revenue. You know, that was my logic, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a very tough journey, I have to say. And it was very annoying for me because I had to keep on jumping between building, fundraising. But thankfully, at the end, things kind of worked out. So there was a big gap, 6 months in the middle that there was no checks, nothing else. And then in the last 2 months, the other 250 came through.
That happened.
Yeah. So that
What
was on.
happened in between the 2 rounds?
Yeah. So in between the 2 rounds, so after we got the money, we were okay. We're good. We have runway now for a year, I think, somewhere around there, 9 months to a year. We've just focused 100% on the product, like nothing else, no distractions. We were not thinking about like talking to anyone except our customers. That's it. We were like, okay, customer obsession time, nothing else now. So in this time, this is when we, figured out we need to do an iteration on the product. We need to provide the savings on more services than we originally thought that we would need to, and just make the experience so good all the time. So essentially, results-wise, what happened is our average onboarding was taking around 15 minutes for a customer to sign up until they're inside the product. So to take a total of 15 minutes, we cut that down to 3 minutes. So the onboarding process became so fast. The second part is the savings part. It was already very good for the market. So our average first saving implemented would be like 1 hour, 2 hours from sign up, which is
Fantastic.
exactly extremely fast. And we cut that down to like 30 minutes.
Okay, amazing.
So
yeah.
essentially on the onboarding, by the time they want to, close the tab, the first saving is already implemented and they can see that reflected on their bill immediately. So this gives like our product the wow factor. And that's what we focused on that year between the two fundraisers.
Like the proof is in the pudding. If you build a good product,
Yeah.
you'll get the funding. Like really, that's the way it works.
True.
Yeah.
Build a good product, have a good
Put your
team.
head down, build that product. Yeah.
For sure. And then the customers will talk for you, right?
Yeah.
I think every single venture capitalist I talked to, they wanted to talk to our customers. Thankfully, that part was like very comfortable for us. I was like, just pick whoever you want. Like, look at our customer list and say, I want to talk to this, and this. And thankfully, like, just give the introduction, and then, as you said, the proof is in the pudding.
Tell me about the second round. How did that come together?
Yeah, for sure. So for the second round, I had the experience of raising before in the region, so I had to prepare a lot for it. And thankfully, this one was very fast. So I think it took us in total around 60 days just to close up the whole $2 million. And there was a bit of build up before it, right? So I say 60 days, but like there was 4 months of preparation before it. So around April of the past year, 2025, we said, all right, like we have enough runway for till the end of the year, but let's start preparing for a new round. We can announce the round around August, and we start raising. And then in my head, I'm like, all right, it will take like 4 months in total to get it done. Now we have revenue, we have a good amount of customers, should be at least easier. So what we did is we essentially started sending out a newsletter bi-weekly almost. So much more frequent. Before I would send like once a quarter or every month maybe, if I remember. We said, no, let's make it a bit more intentional. We're going to send it out more frequently, send out updates, requests, get the venture industry involved in what we're doing. And we kind of just ramp this up and until August. And then I had a very good list, right? Like everybody I wanted to talk to. So by the time I say August hit, I stacked up an insane amount of meetings in like 2-3 weeks. Funny thing, you guys weren't on the list, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, Venture Souk wasn't on the list.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Venture Souk wasn't on the list. But I got an introduction to you guys, I think, in the first week. So after I announced in the first week, I got an introduction to you guys.
Yeah. I guess Roba wowed you to get us on the list, right?
Yeah. So the intro happened. I talked to Roba and Tamer.
Yeah.
And then from there, honestly, like things just flew very fast, right? I think I started talking to you guys beginning of August. In the first week, on the third week, we're already signed. Things moved quite fast. Obviously, I learned a lot about you guys. So I thought maybe, oh, this is like, Milkstraw is like special or something. But then everyone I talked to who you guys invested in, they said, no, like those guys are fast. They move fast. They do the due diligence. They know what they're doing. And if they believe in something, they're just going to go for it. So this was like amazing, to be honest. And then obviously, I did a lot of research on you guys too. And then I figured, okay, like you guys have a massive portfolio too. You've been doing this for a while now. So that kind of like gave me a completely different taste for the VC industry in the Middle East, at least. And then honestly, like a good name with you guys, Venture Souq. The rest just kind of came together very fast. So over the next month, I got the rest of the round done, and definitely there was two elements to this. The first element is the preparation part. We were prepared for it. We had everything set up beforehand. And the second part is having a good lead in the industry just helps out tremendously, right? You go to someone, I have a lead, Venture Souq. Okay, they know you guys. They have a call with you. What's happening?
Yeah.
And things just move much faster. So we were able to close it very fast, thankfully. And it was very good. Like even as a team, I think the day that we said, all right, the fundraise is done, it wasn't like excitement. It was just more a sigh, I guess, in a way. Like we were just like, wow, okay, like this is a completely different experience that we went through last year. That was very intense on the team, right? And my two co-founders, this is their first company. So they didn't have an experience in fundraising before. So they thought like, oh my God, like we have to go through this every 2 years. Like it's just too much. But thankfully, like, we were able to do it, in my opinion, the proper way. Get things moving, do it very fast. The VC is not wasting your time. They actually want to get the deal done or not. They just tell you flat out, and you move on. You need to continue building. That's what you're there to do. Yeah.
So moving on to the markets, we've talked a little bit about MENA versus the other markets.
Yeah.
With respect to cloud spend, particularly, how is MENA different from Europe or the US?
For sure. The US is a bit of a behemoth in this. So I think the latest stat was like maybe 50% of the world cloud usage is in the US, and then the 50 is distributed on the rest of the world.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so
not surprising.
Yeah, not surprising. But the difference, I would say, in the MENA compared to the rest is MENA is the fastest growing out of everyone else. And we see it in our customers that we have in the MENA. Their growth is just insane. They're spending more and more on cloud. They're using the latest technologies. They're becoming literally cloud native. Versus, if you go back just a few years, a lot of companies, they had their servers in their offices.
Yeah. How has your focus changed post the conflict?
Since the conflict started, I mean, we've been working with infrastructure. So obviously we were kind of in the middle of the fire. I wouldn't say we changed our focus. We just stayed as is. Our plan is always to help companies save money and make sure that they get to an efficient infrastructure that's healthy. So I wouldn't say anything changed from that sense. Obviously, the hit affected our revenue. We know it's just for a month, and then we will be back up as things go back to normal. But it just means that we need to take into account that we need to have a diversified global pool of companies with us. Right now, we're like 50-50 between the Middle East and Europe and the US. So it's not, crazy in terms of hit that we got, but we still need to take this into account, obviously, and have more distribution across the world, which is something that we're always working on. And, we think of ourselves as a global company from day one. And that's what we are.
What did you have to over-explain to people in the region, like that you didn't think you would have to? Like, if it wasn't this region, it would be people would get it. Like, is there anything that
on which side? On the customer side or on the venture side?
Customer side.
Customer side. Yeah. All right. So in the region, technical talent is quite strong. But again, as I mentioned now, we just adopted cloud recently. So, I wouldn't say it's 15 years ago. It's just maybe 10 years the cloud adoption started. So there's a bit of a gap. I wouldn't say like it's a massive gap, but I had to explain stuff that I thought there would be a given. But it's not like it was a hurdle or anything. It was just like, okay, I have to explain those extra things to make sure that I get the message across. And the time to close with a customer here takes a bit longer.
Okay.
And I think this is general on the region. I think I always say we have an early adopter crisis. We don't have many early adopters, companies that are willing to take a bet on other startups and try out their product even if it's still buggy or whatever. I think this is like the main core difference versus in the US. I'll tell you a story. Let me just tell you a story.
Yeah, we love stories.
Yeah. I remember this is probably our 7th or 8th customer, something like that. It was a US based company. They reached out. We got on a call with them and we were explaining what the product was doing. And while I was explaining the product, I get a notification that they signed up. So I'm talking to them and they're on the computer signing up. By the time we ended the conversation, they already signed up, did the integration, right? They're just trying to make sure, I think they were trying to make sure we're real, right? We're humans on the other side.
Yeah.
They did the integration, put the credit card, and approved everything.
Yeah.
And this was just while me explaining on the call what we do. They just wanted the confirmation that really, this is real. That's it. And they went ahead and they actually did it. So within the span of 15 minutes, everything was done. Yeah. On the other side, rarely, I don't think it happened, maybe once that this happened with a company regionally. It's typically 2 to 3 calls that they actually just go on board and approve whatever we have. Another thing that was a bit weird that also startups would ask me for referrals from other companies. They would like, can we talk to your other customers? This is normal, but maybe in enterprise, right?
Yeah,
but if you're another startup seed stage, Series A, you should be able to make decisions much faster and just try out stuff. And if you don't like it, just cancel, right? Yeah. Why are you spending so much time on this? Yeah. And this is something we take, deeply at the company. Any product that we can find an alternative that's a startup, we will go for it. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Milkstraw is a UAE homegrown company where your revenue is diversified from a geography standpoint. Do you feel this protects the company from macro pressures?
As I mentioned previously, we're a global company from day one, so we do have a diversified revenue stream, between Europe, US, MENA, and then we have some, small dots here and there in Southeast Asia and Australia and Latam. So definitely it is very helpful. So the revenue that we had from the region, obviously because everything went down, we basically stopped generating money from the region. So 50% of our revenue source essentially took a hit. The other 50% kept on going, which is definitely what kept us breathing. Now on the other side, we know this is temporary, and we know that the region is going to come back up, and everything is going to go back to the way things were. Inshallah. And this specific point was kind of something that I thought about since we started Milkstraw, that we're building out of the region, but we're building a global company from day one. We're not just targeting in the UAE or on Saudi or on a specific country. No, we're going to play the global game. We're going to have customers all over the world. So definitely this helps us a lot from macroeconomic changes and microeconomic changes. So we just had this inherently as a DNA in the company, and everything that we build on top of the original product is going to have the same mindset. We're going to be serving the world from the MENA, and we're not going to be focused on a specific country.
What have you found frustrating in the region in the sale process?
Yeah, I think this is it. I think just take more risks on companies here. We can build as good product as any US company. We have the skill set for it. We have the talent for it. Don't make it a hurdle for a company that's like 4 or 5 people to go through an insane process to close the deal. Just try out the product. What are you gonna lose?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Just try it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a death sentence. You're not gonna be. Nobody's gonna hold you. Just go try it on board. If you like it, you keep going. If you don't like it, you cancel the account. That's it. Like you don't need to go through a lot of hurdles to actually.
Who doesn't want to save money?
Yeah, that's for Milkstraw, but I say the same thing for every other company, right? Just if it's a startup, just give it a shot. Like, what are you gonna lose? And trust me, a startup will try so much harder to please you, right, than any other company, like any other later stage. At our stage, at our seed stage, I know every single customer that we have. I talk to them.
Yeah.
I any feedback they send, like we immediately put it as a priority.
Yeah.
Like you're only gonna get that with a startup.
Yeah.
So I think this mindset that we need to actually like focus on. So from a sales perspective, guys, try startups.
Yes.
Believe in them. Give them a
Yes.
shot. Make their product better with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this thing called this rapid fire round. We've got a few questions for you to get your quick, fast response. One mistake you hope founders don't repeat.
Don't over polish your products. Just
Okay.
get it out as soon as possible.
Yeah. It's V1, right? It's okay.
V0 even,
Yeah.
right? Just V0, it's fine. Make sure the UI looks good. The experience is good. At least regionally, this is important. If in the back it's messy, it's fine. Just get it out as soon as possible.
One thing you do again and again that you did, you were so happy with what you did.
I'm not compromising on the talent I want.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
great. That's a
Yeah.
good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time in my interview process. It's a bit maybe too much, but I spend at least a month, at least, talking to the person I'm going to hire.
Yeah.
The first 10 people are the foundation of the company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Startups are so much just the team, and people are taking a risk on you coming in early on. They are. That's their career. So like we're like a startup like you are, like we take it really seriously if someone, trusts us as this to be a part of their career journey.
Of course.
So it's you really have to have a good fit.
100%.
What's the biggest cloud myth?
It's too complicated. It's made to be complicated, but it's not really complicated.
Yeah. So you can make it easier for them to understand.
Yeah, I mean, that's our mission statement, right?
Yeah.
Change the way engineers interact with cloud.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
I think there's a lot to be done there.
Yeah. So very, very simply, please explain what Milkstraw is.
Yeah, definitely. So Milkstraw, in one statement, is we help companies save up to 50% on their cloud in 15 minutes. So our mission is to change the way people interact with the cloud infrastructure, and part of it is delivering the savings. One of the best forms of optimizing your cloud cost is through financial contracts with the cloud providers, which are inaccessible for growth stage companies. It's very hard for them to do them. Essentially, just to break it down very quickly, is you have two forms of payment to the cloud provider. You either pay on an hourly basis or you pay on a set amount of hours, 750 per month times 12 months or times 36 months. It's very hard for a growing company to commit for that long. And the discounts on those commitments are just unbelievable, right? We're talking 50% plus.
Yeah.
So the idea is, why not bundle those and get those contracts from the cloud provider and then lease them out to these startups and those fast growing companies. So it's a very, very effective way for them to save money. And it's guaranteed. There's no like gimmicky thing about it. This is what you get. This is how much you will save. And it's quite fast and accessible for them to actually do it through us. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what's the most money you've saved someone?
I think the highest one was around 65%. That was like an unbelievable amount, but it was like 65% of their $100,000 bill, which is,
It's
quite,
meaningful.
yeah, it was around 100,000. So like it was a lot of money for them,
Yeah.
monthly.
Yeah.
So over the year,
Yeah. That's very meaningful.
it's almost $1 million plus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about how you founded Milkstraw. What were you doing before you got here?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been always a founder. I started my first company when I was in university in 2011. So this kind of led to kind of a build-up of how Milkstraw happened. So my first company was based on cloud computing. Cloud computing was very new. It was like 3-4 years old at the time. So essentially, I wanted to put my computer on a USB dongle that I can plug into any screen.
Okay.
And that was running completely on the cloud. And I did that, and then my friends saw it. They said, "Hey, I want one too." And that was basically how I started my first company. I started building those, and unfortunately, a year in, I had to shut it down because I sold it as a one-time thing. It was a subscription, and then cloud infrastructure essentially, if you use it, you keep paying for it, right? So I had to keep footing the bill.
Yeah.
Until I reached a point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go bankrupt, or I'm gonna get into debt to keep this going. So I had to shut it down. So first company was shut down by cloud costs. So there's a bit of a trauma there, maybe, right? Then after that, maybe a year in, I started my second company. It was also in university. That was more in restaurant tech. So we built an application to scan a barcode and pay. That was in 2014, late 2013. I ran that for 5 years. We had the POS system along with it. We were quite strong and big in Latam. I don't know why, but it got picked up in Latam. So I spent a lot of time traveling from San Francisco to Mexico for the product. Our growth was quite substantial, so we had like 600 restaurants or so. And then I had an exit. Fortunately, a big chain bought us out. It was a good time to buy us out. Me and my co-founders had a fallout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right at the time when things were about to break, this deal comes in and got me out
I
of.
guess blessing in disguise.
Yeah, blessing in disguise for sure. Also a very good lesson on how to pick your co-founders, right? After that, I had a bit of money and I started kind of investing. I never did investing before, so I started investing in the US stock market, learning about how it works. And then I said, okay, this is a bit too boring. Like, I need to make it a bit fun. So I started doing it on Excel sheets, like building algorithms to like make decisions on like, okay, this is a good stock or not. And it was just part of like having fun doing it. And then my family started like, hey, can you invest for me, and my friends then. And so at one point I had like, I don't know, like 1.2 or 1.3 million dollars I was like managing.
Okay.
And then one of my friends is like, I don't think that's legal. You should do something about it.
Probably not.
Yeah. So I said, okay, well, I don't even know what I need to do. And they're like, oh, we'll start a hedge fund. So yeah, we got a team, hired the lawyers, and we started the hedge fund. And then I just started hiring engineers. We had no analysts, nothing. This was all engineers, and they were just building algorithms and making decisions on the market. And over 5 years, we grew that to like 16 million AUM. And then that was before I decided to leave, sold my share to my co-founder there, and moved back to Dubai. But Milkstraw was kind of, the whole idea of Milkstraw was born in the hedge fund. Essentially, the idea was, how can I apply the same logic of a stock market onto compute? Okay. That was just kind of the core idea.
Yeah.
And and that's what we applied literally. So how we think about those contracts that we move across our customer pool for them to get the best discount possible is
you treat it like an asset.
It is an asset class, yeah. So internally for us, it is an asset class. We treat it as a portfolio of stocks that we need to buy and sell, except we control it. So we're kind of a mutual fund in that way.
Get it? I totally get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. The next plan hopefully is offer it as an asset class. Let's see how that works out. Yeah.
So tell me about how AI is impacting Milkstraw.
AI is on an insane run now. Um, I don't want to even say like a year ago. I want to say 2 months ago. Just the difference that we felt from 2 months until now is unbelievable. We moved at least like now 80% plus of our code is written by AI, specifically Claude, which is a model built by Anthropic. Um, it's really changed even the way we are thinking about building inside the company and how fast do we need to ship. So now a feature we would say, hey, we want to build this feature. How long will it take? Previously, maybe it will take us a month. So we need to do the planning and do it. Now even the planning we're doing with the model, right? Like this is the idea. Like how would we structure it? And then the whole plan starts coming out. And then okay, is this a good plan? Yes. All right, let's go for it. And and we leave it running sometimes 24/7 for 3-4 days. Just it's building on its own.
Fantastic.
So things are changing a lot, and even for the engineers on the team, their jobs are getting changing a bit too. So we're becoming a bit more review focused. We're making sure that the code is very clean. We're making sure that it's actually good for us to push to production, rather than kind of thinking about how would we even structure this whole project. So things are changing. I don't know how they're even going to change faster. So yesterday the new model dropped, the new Claude model. We want to see how big is the change from the previous one. So I think a lot is going to change this year.
How are you keeping up with the changes, the constant evolution of AI?
It is giving us anxiety, I have to say. It is giving us anxiety. But thankfully we have, our head of AI, Abdurrahman Zboon. His job is to make sure that we're using the best that is there. And if there's anything that's gimmicky, that we're kind of putting aside. Of course, all of us are kind of aware of what's happening, but we know, all right, this is like the best that we have today, so let's just adopt it. And whatever the cost is, because it doesn't matter now. Like if to get the best plan, the maximum plan on Claude is $200, right? What $200? Nothing, right? If I need to get an engineer, a full-time engineer, I'm gonna pay them 20-30 times that. So we're adopting the latest technology, trying it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we just move on.